All right, welcome. This is David Kohlmeier, the problem solver. Today we have my co-host, Marcus Deegan.
Co-hosting the problem solver. Wow, that's a step up, isn't it?
But this is another level.
It is.
John T was away in Canada. She's
performing in a female review over there.
She's actually taking a bunch of illegals north.
Ah,
or something
nice,
like that.
nice, yeah.
That's kind of a joke, inside joke. It's actually a sad situation because she has a friend that basically, due to the immigration, he's from Canada, and basically got deported. Which you always hear about Mexico, right? You never really hear about the guy that goes to Canada.
Well,
So-
anyone that runs their visa runs out gets deported. Australian, it doesn't matter where you're from, and especially right now with the crackdown on immigration,
It could be anywhere.
it can be anyone. And you just have to do something by overstay your visa by a month, and you can get kicked out of here for 12 years.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, problem solver. My beautiful wife, Kamelia Kohlmeier, is here.
She's way better looking than you, David.
Absolutely. When you
You
get
get
married,
brownie points for that, by the way.
Yeah, well, listen.
when you get married up.
You
get up.
shot above, bro, and you really lucked out there.
Time, money, patience. Persian. Time, money, patience gets you
Really?
a beautiful Persian girl. Yeah.
What is it about Persian women that are so spectacular? She's this tiny little beautiful girl. How did she end up with someone like you?
You know, I don't know, but actually, Persian women are normally very beautiful, exotic, Mediterranean. So I definitely think that has something to do with it. But I always like, a tan skin, brown hair, brown eyes.
You like little girls?
Yeah, like a little puppy.
Yeah.
Just to push the puppy. She's not always a puppy. Sometimes she's a Chihuahua.
But what's your heritage?
She's a Persian Chihuahua.
Oh no, I can tell that. What's your heritage?
She looks small and cute. And
Oh, well, to keep you in line, she'd have to be. What's your heritage?
I'm actually 50% German, and then the other side's Hungarian and Czechoslovakian. So,
you look Czechoslovakian.
So I'm a mix. But it's interesting because when I'm with her, most people think that she's Spanish, and they think I'm Persian. But I can go, depending upon the crowd that I'm in.
What's the language of Persia?
Farsi.
Do you
Farsi.
speak it?
Yeah.
Do you speak it, David?
Do you know any Farsi? I got like 8 words. I
Really?
just say it in a circle, like, it's Khubi, Khubazdi, Chetari, Jakaba. These like hello, how are you? Like, you just say it in a circle.
What's the same words, pretty much? He says it.
Microphone. So anyway, by the way, I want to thank Old School Energy for sponsoring today's Problem Solver podcast. This is like the best energy drink around.
That's going to get my money coming in quicker than later.
0 calories, right?
Yeah, well, no, it does have calories in it, but the beauty of this is it's done with natural cane sugar, and your body needs it so it can disperse it a lot easier than the saccharin or the dyes or the food colorings or the fake sweeteners that they put in it. And that's the beauty of that. It's only got 20 calories, 200 milligrams of caffeine, and then mixed with the L-theanine, it gives you that gradual dispersive energy so you don't get that jittery rush like when you drink one of these other ones, and then you don't crash straight after it. And it's more on the healthy side of it because a lot of these energy drinks, as I've mentioned in the past, they have so many different ingredients in them that your body just does not need. Your brain doesn't need it and your body doesn't need it. And they're not really transparent about what they put in these drinks. And a lot of them are really, really bad for you. For instance, taurine, it's carcinogenic. We don't have any of those ingredients in our drink. We have 12 ingredients only. We're very transparent about what we put into it. The guy that put the drinks together is a former coach of bodybuilders, so he knows about fitness, he knows about nutrition, and we wanted to do something that was a bit different than everybody else. That was give you the energy drink experience, but done healthily. You know what I mean? Like people wake up in the morning, they don't like coffee, they want to have an energy drink. Well, you can drink this and you're not going to get all the bad crap that comes along with all the other stuff.
Since I've been drinking this for about a month, I haven't slept.
Well, cheers. You'll get
Cheers.
more work done.
Cheers.
Cheers to old school.
Cheers to old school
Old school
energy.
energy.
Thank you.
I have no clue what's
Mixes
inside
great
it.
with vodka as well, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah,
old
so
school energy.
heavy week in the United States this week.
Yeah, so tell me, this is kind of interesting. It's actually interesting. The person that does my editing, Aaron, he's more on the liberal side of things. And it's interesting because with Charlie Kirk and stuff, it's a very sad situation. And I'll start off by saying, you keep seeing more of the videos of him. It's, of course, a very sad situation. The bottom line is it's death. Someone got killed, and he's got 2 kids. He's got a wife. And no matter what you say, it wasn't like he was going out harming people. He was just a conversation, and he was debating people, and that's what like America should be about, is like debating, being allowed to have that conversation. When you shoot and kill someone basically and stop that conversation, I don't think that's a good thing for society or democratic, free, world. But what's upsetting is I posted something online, and I was saying, oh, we should have a statue. When someone mentioned a statue, I think Elon Musk wants to do some different things. And I said, we should have a statue in Las Vegas. And there's people that are going back and forth. And, it's a weird situation because, I have relationships with people in Vegas that are like friends. And then a lot of people I do a lot of networking with. I just, on the phone, I text 850 people today to go out for an event that they can come out for networking, to meet people. And you become friendly with the people. And then what I noticed is with the Kirk situation is that some people are messaging like a little weird. And then you say to yourself, like, all right, does that mean, like, do I start the debate with them? Do I block them? Do I not talk with it? Because people say you shouldn't be, like, talk about politics. I mean, I guess he talked about politics and religion, but it was just conversation.
Well, this is where the planned division comes in. This is where people get divided in situations like this. This is why people turn away from their favorite actors or their favorite people that they listen to in music, because the views are so completely polar opposites. You know what I mean? There's one view on one side and one view on the other side. Personally, on my point of view is that I think one side is good and I think the other side is evil. And that's bottom line. It all started with that young Ukrainian girl that got murdered on the train by that guy that stabbed her in the neck and killed her in cold blood. And I did a video about it where I basically said that this day and age, men are weak. There's a lot of beta males. People just sat there and watched it happen. And I posted my point of view saying that I think it's a duty as a man, it's an obligation as a man, that if you see a small, tiny woman in trouble, regardless of whether you know her or not, it is your primary role to step in and help, to do something, whether it's to stop it from happening. And that video blew up. It got over 225,000 views, and I ended up getting around 4,000 extra followers on my Instagram, primarily just because of that video and what my views were. Now, there's a lot of hate that come along with it. Yeah, whatever, bro. You're not going to do anything. You're not even American. You wouldn't do anything if that, people are always going to troll online. But my premises of that video was to say there's a lot of weak men in this country, in this generation, and that if something like that happened in front of me, there is no way in the world that I could sit there and do nothing. Even if it was going to risk my own safety, I would have to step in and do something. That video blew up and kind of went half viral, and I really got a lot of amazing praise after it. And after that, I thought that was going to be the most devastating thing that was going to happen for the week. And it took me a long time to kind of process it, and I couldn't stop thinking about it. And that poor girl, and it showed the still shot of her looking up, grabbing her throat, saying, "What just happened to me? What did I do?" You know what I mean? It was heartbreaking, and I literally cried about it. And then the Charlie Kirk thing happened, which just really sent me into the next rabbit hole of not only heartache, and it was incredible that, I personally didn't know Charlie. I loved his work. I loved what he did. I thought he was articulate, very smart, the master at debating. He could really... Someone could say something to him and he could counteract it and make them sound ridiculous. Mind you, a lot of the people that were against what he said, if you see who they are, they're these liberal left-wing extremists, these DEI, in favor of DEI, that would yell, would swear, would come at him with ridiculousness, and he would debate them in a way that kind of shut them up, you know what I mean? So when that happened, I went down this rabbit hole, and I could see how his effect affected so many people, to where people were mourning him like they knew, like he was a family member.
That's exactly what I told David. This is the first time I cried for death of someone that's like a position of power that I don't really truly knew him as a friend, but I felt like he was a friend. Like I started crying. The way I felt for his death and his family, it was like as if my close friend unfortunately had passed away, God forbid.
And I think that's because...
And I heard that from other people.
Oh, I heard it from... But it wasn't just in America. It was worldwide. It was like tributes, and people are crying, and you can see how it affected them because of his words, because of his message, and because of how, for 31 years old, man, that guy's pretty smart. So the way that he kind of articulated how things kind of should be, and he was literally a Bible scholar.
Yeah, I mean, he knew the stuff. He knows it.
He was like a walking encyclopedia. The
Unbe-
data, he knew everything.
smart, you know what I mean? Tall, with a beautiful family. And then you can see the effect he had. As I said, people were crying and mourning like he was part of their family. But then on the other side of it, there was the opposite side. There was the liberal, woke ideology side that came out and celebrated it. Celebrated it in a fact where they were laughing, they were dancing, they were mocking, they were celebrating, and then they were recording it and putting it on social media. Now, regardless of whether you agreed with what he said, I may not agree with everything you say, vice versa, but that's why dialogue and conversation is so beautiful, is that you can just talk about it and, you know, it's in an intellectual, smart way. These people are celebrating this man's death, jumping and carrying on. To me, not only is it mental illness, it's semi-demonic. I've seen the faces of some of these people and the way that they're celebrating it, and it is terrifying, because if they're celebrating someone like him dying, then they would celebrate someone like you dying. But the beauty of that is now that they're saying it's you know, free speech and the First Amendment. You can say whatever you want. Yeah, there is such a thing called the First Amendment, but the First Amendment was written so the government couldn't tell you what to say. So these people are coming out on a public forum and saying what they're saying and getting fired from their jobs. They're getting kicked out of universities. They're getting exposed and having their social media taken down. They're saying, yeah, but it's free speech. It's free speech. It may be free speech, but there is consequences to things that you say. If you're putting a dirty name on a university or a hospital, or if you're someone that's in a, you know, a profession that is looked at where you have to have a certain amount of professionalism, you can't say things like that. And why would you say something like that? It says a lot about someone, the way that they act when someone passes away. You know what I mean?
If you're going to be a college professor, I don't want you to be teaching my kid if you're going to be celebrating some innocent man's death. Like, I do not want you to be in that college.
If you're going to be an anesthesiologist and you don't agree with the right side of the way things are done and you celebrate that, I'm not going to feel safe going in there with my political or the way that I look at things, because how do I know that you're not going to go, fuck this guy, he's
It's so true.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You would have to be worried about that. And
Sad,
that's why
but
these
true.
people are getting, you know, dismissed from their jobs. And the thing is that the hypocrisy of the left is just astounding to me. Like, I look at it sometimes and just shake my head and go, are you guys absolutely crazy? They are bitching and that they're getting fired from their job for freedom of speech and for the First Amendment, and they're saying that it shouldn't happen. Look what just happened to Charlie. Charlie wasn't killed because of the Second Amendment. Charlie was killed because of the First Amendment, because he was opening eyes to the younger generation. He got more young Republicans to vote for Trump than any other generation in history, because he said things with common sense. You know what I mean? Little kids shouldn't be able to cut their genitals off and turn into another gender. Open borders aren't safe for the country. People should, you know, it's like if Joe Biden or Kamala Harris got assassinated, the last, as much as I detest those two and the damage that they did to this country, the last thing that I would do is go on social media and celebrate it. I would actually be sad, and I would actually pray for those people. It says a lot about the left and the right. It's completely different.
How is it in Australia with politics like this?
So Australia is definitely turning into, as from my personal opinion, and I may get a lot of hate from a lot of Australians about this, it's the most beautiful country in the world. It's where I grew up. It's where all my family are. But it's turning into a communist country. It's run by China. You know, they have there's no Second Amendment there, as you know. They're putting a limit on freedom of speech. There's things that you can't say. They're stopping people from having YouTube channels that are under the age of 16. They're not allowed to have any social media. You can say something on social media where you disagree with something, and you'll get a knock on the door from the police, and you'll get arrested. It's very, very expensive to live there, and you know they're flooding it with a lot of immigrants.
Why there for the immigrant situation? Why? I mean, it's an island. It's not like a huge island, right?
Well, it's a continent. It's the biggest continent in the world. It's huge. It's got about 26 million people. Because it's like anything. Why are they flooding countries with illegal immigrants? Is because they want
The votes.
They want the votes so they can get the takeover. Australia is very left wing, man. so left wing. It's sickening.
That's what it seems like, it's the votes. But anyway, so it's definitely a sad situation.
The sad irony for the death of Charlie Kirk is that he always promoted the nuclear family, the parents, the father being there, and now his kids are going to be raised with no kids, with no parents, no father.
Yeah, and the thing is that you know that his wife and children were there,
And they watch this.
and if anyone, and I want to recommend this because don't go down that rabbit hole and look for that video of Charlie being assassinated because it will not get out of your brain. Like I'm just going to get emotional here now. When I saw that video, I only watched it once and I'll never be able to watch it again because it was horrific and it was horrible. I couldn't stop thinking about it. Like I could not get that out of my head.
I couldn't watch it. I haven't watched it.
I recommend anyone that hasn't seen it, please don't watch it because it will change the way that you think. And then people were criticizing Charlie's wife for coming out and posting that video of her standing over his casket. And, you know, obviously they only showed it from the chest down. But I think the reason why they did that is because they want that to be maybe a lasting image to show peace instead of violence. And I think that people need to see that because people need to see the gravity of what happened. And, I mean, you can only imagine the strength of that woman 36 hours later to get up and talk about, you know, what happened to her husband. I mean, it'd be like him getting assassinated in front of the whole world and it going viral and then them 36 hours later saying, hey, Kamelia, can you get up and, you know, and talk about this?
I don't know how she had the strength to do it. She's amazing.
So let me ask you a question. So moving from the Charlie Kirk situation, because I was looking at your list of different items. I mean, we can go back and forth in this situation, but the bottom line is it doesn't really change anything. It's very interesting just to see how social media and TV and what all these things that are taking place. But it
even outshone, and this is to show you how powerful Charlie was. 9/11.
Oh, yeah,
you basically didn't see anything about 9/11 on 9/11. It was all about Charlie. Mm-hmm. I mean, what does that say? It says so much about, you know, him as a man and as you know, a martyr now that he is.
You put when I asked you a few topics for today, you actually put down Israel, and I was actually surprised to see that. What were the topics? What were your thoughts?
Well, I'm now seeing that Bibi Netanyahu offered Charlie Kirk $150 million 3 days before he was assassinated to change the rhetoric on Israel, because Charlie was starting to open his eyes a little bit about Israel, how
because he went there and stuff like that. I saw that
he went there, and but not only that is because you know how they are really enveloped in with the American government, the American politics. You know, we can go down the Jeffrey Epstein rabbit hole, where Jeffrey Epstein was you know, someone that worked for the Israeli government. You know, his partner Ghislaine Maxwell's father was part of it. So they're saying that Israel possibly has something to do with the assassination of Charlie Kirk because he denied what they wanted him to do, and he was kind of opening a lot of people's eyes to, you know, the genocide that's happening in Palestine, and how they're trying to pretty much, you know, eliminate everybody there. And these are very touchy subjects because you can gain 5,000 followers and you can lose 20 from talking about stuff like this. But I don't really care at this point because it's my truth. So I've just been delving into how, you know, Israel has a big pull on the American government. They get a lot of money from us. There's a lot of people that are run by Israel. And
so I guess, well, here's the first thing. In regards to Charlie, in regards to Israel, I heard that they offered him to come out. They were on the phone a few days prior. I know there's a lot of conspiracy theories about Israel, like he was involved in the assassination, which basically Netanyahu basically came. Of course not. They were friends with Israel and stuff like that. So
He loved Israel.
Yeah, of course.
Charlie
Well,
Kirk always talked
it's
about
where
Israel.
it's like a lot of conspiracy theory, and there's a lot of anti-Semitic stuff that's taking place in general. I guess my take is, I guess, what are your thoughts? Okay, so in regards to, I mean, not that we have to go dive deep into, what are your thoughts from your knowledge or from your sphere in regards to what's happening in Israel or Palestine? What's your take on that situation?
Well, it came from Charlie. Israel has had the opportunity to stop that war many times, and they are keeping it going with funding from the United States to genocide the people of Gaza.
I don't think it's a genocide. With respectfully said, Hamas is attacking Israeli civilians, and Hamas will continue to do it unless they completely get rid of Hamas. Unfortunately, Hamas is hiding under I'm sorry, no churches allowed there. Mosques, hospitals, kindergarten, schools, and the only way to get through them, unfortunately, is because they're hiding behind the civilians. But just imagine, if Israel does not stop Hamas, Hamas will not stop at Israel. Hamas will be back to attack all Western civilization. And that's, if you read Intifada and what they are basically promoting or what their ideology is basically to get rid of any free speech, any Jews, Christians, basically anyone that does not agree with Hamas and Hamas ideology and extreme Islamic ideology, their plan is to get rid of them.
Yeah.
So with that said, I believe respectfully that if Israel was not that buffer, we will be attacked. Like any terrorist attack that has been done to any European country, America, United States, it goes back to very liberal, I guess, Islamic ideology. Think about September 11. Think about things that have happened in Germany.
Yeah, but do we know that it was Islam that did September 11th?
Yeah, who were the hijackers? Go watch
Well, it's coming out now that they're saying that the hijackers were speaking in Hebrew.
I don't think so. Don't get into please be very careful what they say on Instagram.
The problem with all this stuff is that there's a lot of conspiracy theories.
There's a lot of conspiracy theories.
Right? Well,
listen, the government lied about 9/11. The government lied about JFK. The government is lying about Charlie Kirk. I don't think we can rely on anything that the government says.
That's what's created.
They were jihadis. If you just go ahead and even listen to Charlie Kirk, he actually has a clip on it. They were not Israeli. Don't get into the conspiracy theory. Please, I beg of you, read more.
I believe that there is a lot of things out there that are being said that will come to light eventually. Like anything in the dark always does come to light. And once again, I could be wrong. I'm no expert on anything, but I think people need to delve in and do their research a little bit more. We said that it was Saddam Hussein that did 9/11, and it was caused by that. George Bush sent people over there, killed millions and millions of people, innocent people, didn't find any weapons of mass destruction.
What I'll share is this with you. I mean, look, this is what's interesting about Charlie Kirk is that the guy had a lot of knowledge and experience to basically, educational-wise, to go back and forth. I couldn't go so deep back and forth about all these things, right? Like, I couldn't go as deep as he could, which was the sad part that he's no longer here because he was good to debate these aspects. Now, I'm not saying conspiracy theories are out there for different things. It's interesting you bringing this one up because I've never heard the one in regards to Israel being involved in 9/11. So on. Now, I'm not saying
I've heard it a lot.
They're not self-bombers. Believe me, Jews will not want to lose their life on a plane. We love our lives
the problem
too much.
the problem is on social media and basically, with life in general, like, there's a lot of conspiracy, there's a lot of anti-Semitic so on. But here's a story. The bottom line is Muslim extremists, all of right, just like what's going on.
Absolutely, 100%. Look what they're doing in Europe right now. They're invading Ireland, Paris. They're invading Italy. They're invading a lot of different countries, and they are demonic. I got to be careful what I say, but their ideology, I believe, is based on suppression and violence.
Well, I guess here's the story. Let me finish this. Is that as we see, Muslim extremists are saying they're going to take over Europe, and just like they're taking over Australia, they are trying to take over all the places. They don't want. It's not even just about Jewish people. They don't want Christians or Hindus, right? They want basically just Muslim population. So with Israel, basically, it's the same situation where basically you have people that are just trying to basically take over Israel, just like they want to take over all of Europe, and eventually they want to come to America, which they are already here. Yeah. Muslim extremists, if you know, in Dearborn, Michigan, basically the population there, the Muslim extremists that are there, they're in the streets.
Well, look what's happening in New York right now.
They're trying to get Sharia laws passed in Canada. Here.
I think that we just have to look at the bigger picture. That the bottom line is, we know for a fact, and they even say it themselves, they're trying to take over, and there should only be Muslim people. So that means eventually they would try to kill you, just as a Jewish person or a Christian. What's interesting about Charlie Kirk was that he was Christian. He wasn't even Jewish. Yeah. So the bottom line is there's a lot of conspiracy theories that are out there. And I'm not saying, like, I'm watching this stuff right now talking about Charlie Kirk. I mean, there's so much stuff going on, like, it's crazy, right? But But the bottom line is, we know for a fact that Muslim extremists want to take over all of Europe. They will eventually, because of the population, because they're populated, right?
Yeah, because they're having babies at record numbers compared to white people.
So they're saying, actually, I think it's 2035 or something, like the majority, they are taking over. Eventually, Australia will be a Muslim country. So
Europe will be a Muslim country.
Well, Australia, all these countries in Europe will be Muslim because of the population growth, and they are trying to expand. Just like even China. China's trying to buy land in different places. They're trying to buy land, buy a lot of military places in America, which shouldn't be allowed either. I mean, there's a lot of things that are going on. But I will share with you in general, it's a concern. It's an issue. But I will share with you that Israel is the only democratic country in the Middle East, right?
Yeah.
So that's why we're friends with them. If Turkey was democratic and believed in basically doing democratic things, we would be friendly with them too. But nobody is friendly except Israel because they believe in basically rights for people. And I think the best thing also is when you see Muslim people that are not Muslim extremists that are living, in Israel, that are citizens of Israel. I think it's very interesting when you see those people. That's why it was great when Charlie went to Israel and learned and experienced in general. But I think that we have such propaganda and social media, and then from the left and so on. We could talk about this forever, but it's a problem because
there's
even
a lot of funding that goes into social media influencers to create hate for Jews in Israel altogether.
Yep.
So I urge everyone to kind of read behind that, do more research besides what's out there. Because coming from a country that people were suppressed, was a Muslim country, you're not allowed to drink alcohol. You're not allowed to have boyfriends, girlfriends. You're not allowed to
dance.
You're not allowed to dance. You're not allowed to sing.
Show your face.
Pretty much you're not allowed to even use the public beach if you're a woman. You have to have a separate side. You have to have a separate type of bathing suit. I mean, coming from a country that you're very suppressed and oppressed, especially as a woman, people that are seeing that, my friends who are not Jewish, are very pro-Israel because they see that Israel is the only country in the Middle East that's pro-gay, sexual, homosexual rights, drinking, democracy, whatever it is, whether you want to cover your hair or you don't want to cover your hair, whether you want to drink or you want to believe in God or you don't. There are a lot of Jews that actually are atheists in Israel, but they get the same respect, whatever religion you have. That's the only country in the Middle East that has that type of democracy where they're actually represented. Even Muslims are represented in their government.
One thing to share with you, Kamelia lived in Iran.
And a lot of people don't talk about
lived in Iran where she's Jewish, that they had to basically, her mother had to wear, what do you call it again?
I had to cover my hair when I go to school, like kids age of first grade.
So, is that freedom in general? So this is the people that are basically trying to basically...
Women were actually not allowed to get a hotel. If you go visit, you're going to travel to another city, as a woman, you're not allowed to get a hotel room by yourself. You have to have a man by yourself. Now, there's a little bit as a result of the recent war with Israel, and they're trying to be a little bit showing more democracy, but normally women are not allowed to be able to book a hotel room, or if they get divorced, the father always gets the kids.
And I suppose also,
you guys a little closer together.
I suppose also.
And move over a little bit this way.
With
you can check the cameras, you can see.
With the I suppose with the Muslim faith, their prophet killed a lot of people and married a 9-year-old or
9-year-old, yeah.
Yeah.
Listen,
and that's their prophet, right?
That's the prophet.
The thing is that like I said, you become so educated. Like Charlie, like when he was debating, he would say, if you look in the Quran, basically it states to kill all Westerners unless unless you're Muslim. Basically, we should kill everybody, and it says that in the Quran.
Unless you're a practicing Muslim.
Yeah, so he takes out the Quran. He's got it. Look, page 43. Everyone says no. That's what was great about Charlie. That he was knowledgeable. He was educated. He knew about the Christian religion, the Jewish religion. He knew about the Muslim religion. He was able to debate it. But anyway, the bottom line is it's a mess, and the problem with it is that even like yourself, and I'm not saying anything I think we see things off social media and so on, but I know from just looking at you from your country, that's what's taking place right now.
Yeah.
The Muslim people are taking over in general. Now, there's no problem if you're Muslim if you're not going to be a Muslim extremist.
Yeah. I have a lot of friends that are Muslim, and I love them dearly, but as long as they're not extremists and not going after killing...
But is there Jewish extremists as well?
In the religion of Judaism, you're not allowed to kill. That's 10 commandments. So you're not allowed to kill. Thou shalt not kill.
Because I'm
So
sure there's
there's
extremists in
There's
every.
extremists like they basically.
I mean, look at some of the
They
Catholics.
don't
Look at the
answer
priests.
the phone on Sabbath, on Sabbath, and Charlie Kirk even talked about it. So they're, they don't touch the fire, they don't work, but they're not extremists in the way that they would be going out there and killing you because you're not Jewish. We don't
Right.
believe in that. That is not part of the religion at all. So there's no extremists in that sense, but extremists in the sense that they would take, they would be maybe reading Torah more often than myself would be doing. Of course,
So, do you think that babies being circumcised and then the rabbis sucking the blood off the penis is an extreme?
So they don't suck the blood, but if you actually go back to circumcision now, I'm not Charlie Kirk or anyone like that that's so educated to be able to answer all these questions, but I can tell you that men that don't get circumcised, many times in the future, they have more infections and have a lot of times problem during sexual activity than men that are circumcised. So in ancient times, where circumcision actually became part of the Torah and the Jewish law, was part of hygiene, actually, personal hygiene.
It's interesting.
A lot of things in Torah is about hygiene.
I don't think we thought this podcast was going this way.
No. But what I'm saying to me is a rabbi sucking the blood off a baby's penis after
Our
it's been.
son had a circumcision.
Right.
I couldn't watch them myself, but I could really closely. I can tell you as a mom.
By the way, I've never heard someone say that.
It's not sucking blood, though. It's just
You've never heard that.
They take a piece of that foreskin because that's the piece that actually gets infected. Now, I'll tell you this. I had a friend. She's a great friend of mine, and one of her boyfriends in the past, she's not Jewish, she's a non-practicing Muslim. And one of her boyfriends, she's been married a few times, several boyfriends, this particular gentleman was not circumcised.
Right.
So she would tell me stories that, he had trouble having sexual activity with her because it was always being irritated. He was always having issues, and that was her first experience with a man that was not circumcised.
So you've never had an experience with an uncircumcised man?
No.
Have you ever seen what one looks like?
No, actually, I think I might have seen online, but I'm not really sure.
No, but what I'm referring back to is the practice of circumcision with babies. What is it with the Jewish rabbis that were... and the reason why they stopped it is because they were,
that's not
you've
even
never
a
heard
thing.
of that?
That's not a thing at all. I'll tell you.
Have you heard of it though?
By the way,
I've never heard of it. There's no sucking of blood of any sort. There's just a small piece of skin that gets cut, and it gets done even in hospitals. Non-rabbis, our pediatrician actually said he does that as part of the services he does as a pediatrician. So it's not, and he's not Jewish. It's not religion related. A lot of people do it as a hygiene.
Now though. Earlier.
So think about it. Torah goes so many years back, and it was there before we had this science behind it. But at this point, so why do people do it that are not Jewish? It's not they choose to do it, I think, because of the scientific benefits.
Because it looks better.
And it looks much better, I would say.
By the way, I've never heard anyone say that, which is kind of crazy you said that.
But yeah, there's no sucking of blood. I don't know where you got that information. I would
let me just recap,
to see that goes back to the conspiracy theory we talked about.
Move over this way because you're in screen. Get closer together, even though it's a hot topic. Do me a favor. I never heard someone say that. I want to go to ChatGPT.
I'm trying to figure out where he's getting that information.
Wait, let's just recap. I want to hear this clearly. You've heard that after the circumcision...
Yeah, I've seen videos. Yeah.
Of what? The rabbi sucking the blood from the penis?
Yes.
No, okay, just to let you know, Marcus,
I never heard of that.
In the Jewish religion, blood is actually impure. Like, we don't even want to deal with it. Like, when I make food or the meat that I buy that's kosher meat, it's been washed and soaked in salt water many times. There's I can't tell you how many times. I don't know the laws behind it, but the butcher does that because we can't eat blood. That's actually unpure. It's un-Jewish, whatever you want to say. It's against our religion. So for whoever made that up or that video, I promise you it's not a thing. It's either a fake rabbi or some kind of AI. I don't know. I have to see it.
Yeah, I'll have to find the article and send it over to you.
Just regular meat that we eat, it's being washed and soaked in salt water to drain all that blood.
So you guys, this is probably a personal question. You guys can't have sex when you're menstruating either then, right? That's unforbidden because if blood...
Technically, yes.
Right.
Yeah. And then
What do you mean
also,
technically?
I mean, I can't tell you every Jew is not going to be a practicing Jew. But you
Right.
know what I'm saying?
Right.
But that's what the religion says. Yeah. Even like when we eat eggs, right? Raw eggs. If you ever notice that sometimes there's a small blood stain in there,
Yes.
we're not allowed to eat that.
Right.
So for whoever came up with the rabbi sucking blood from a circumcision, that is an absolute no nonsense, not Jewish. Maybe that rabbi was posing as a Jew. I don't know.
I mean, you know what's interesting, like, and that's where Charlie Kirk comes into play. Basically, is that maybe there's something in Roman 18, like I couldn't even talk about that. Like I don't know what happened in 10,000 BC of one
this is
rabbi
the
that
beauty
did
of-
something.
No, the rabbis didn't. I'm telling you, it's
The
it's
beauty
not a
of
thing.
what we're doing, we're having like respectful dialogue. Our beliefs are different. However, we can still care and love each other and have conversations about things that we disagree on, because it helps you educate me, and then maybe some things that I can talk about will help educate your lovely wife. You're not saying that she...
So listen, this is where the whole purpose of I'm not a person to debate all this stuff in general.
Yeah.
The bottom line is I'm looking to live in 2025 and not get killed and shot by some person that has different opinions of me. The bottom line is like, just be happy, be free, just don't commit violence and don't kill people.
Right.
Just like the Ukrainian girl on the bus. I mean, he's mentally unstable.
Yeah, but
unhealthy.
I don't. So is everyone that kills someone mentally unstable? I don't believe the whole mentally unstable thing.
I mean, unless you're
anyone that kills someone has a mental
Doesn't say unless
disability.
you're at
I
war.
got a mental disability, but I'm not going to kill anyone. I'm slightly bipolar. We can't get any closer. She's going to be sitting on my lap, bro.
Can you just sit on his lap real quick? No, wait, hold on a second.
I knew it.
Move over a drop. Move over. Look at your angle. You're off the side. No, you got to go further. Yeah.
I came too much.
All right, stop there. All right, perfect.
There we go. That's better.
Don't
like
move.
that.
I know you guys are heated there. Okay,
we go.
let's move forward.
She looks better than sitting next to me than she does next to you.
She actually makes you look a lot better looking.
She does, right?
Here's the story. The bottom line is we can debate this stuff. I'm not a person to debate all this stuff, to know all this stuff in general. The bottom line is we cannot have violence and kill people because we dislike what they're saying. The Muslim extremist situation, and there's another situation in general. I want Muslim extremists or anybody to take over America, whether it was the Nazis or whether whoever it is. But the bottom line is people have a right to live, period.
Yeah.
So the situation with Palestine, Israel, it's a massive situation.
I'm just gonna add something to the Palestine
Move your mic again. Go ahead.
because have you seen the hostages? What they look like? They're starving.
But here's the
Have you-
situation.
and if
But here's the
Is-
situation. Someone
if
like him will say
Hamas-
that doesn't not knowledgeable. They'll say, "Well, look what they've done over the years." Bottom line is,
No, but if you look at
people-
the images of their people, their population, Israel is the only country that would go to a war with another country but provide them free food, electricity, water. Which country does that? Does Russia do that for Ukraine or vice versa or any other country in the history? Can you tell me that while they're going to war, while they're in a war with each other, they're providing free resources, free aids, food? If you look at the people there, they're much heavier. I can show you pictures, heavy set. And then you look at the starving hostages. They're the ones that are really dying, and not the people. Because if you see the people, and a lot of times, a lot of those that you see those images, they have makeup. They're actually.
Yeah, I've heard there's some fake stuff going on.
There's a
some
lot of
acting
fake stuff.
Yeah.
They expose them. Israel exposed a lot of them. You see the same person the next day on a different video. And this video, they're almost dying. There's blood gushing out, and then there's another video.
So what's the purpose then? Why is there all this propaganda? Why is there all this fake stuff?
It's anti-Semitic.
It's unfortunately, as Charlie Kirk said, what does he say? It's the world's oldest hatred for humanity, like is being anti-Jewish and anti-Semitic,
well,
unfortunately.
I guess here's the big thing I'll say is this: October 7th took place. These people.
Hitler wanted to kill us. He wanted to get rid of all the Jews, right? He killed 6 million. Actually, David has family member that died. His great aunts, all of them have died. His grandmother was the only one that got lucky and was able to switch with her sister, and she survived. The rest died in Germany, Nazi Germany.
The bottom line is, look, people are hated all over the world. A lot of the Jews basically have been hated. Some
in
people
Iran.
Some people feel like now, because we're like 1% of the population, that we've been too successful. That a lot of people will complain about different people, right? So people say white, black,
all
Jews.
Jews are too successful, or they're too poor, or there's always an issue reason. They have a country, or they don't have a country.
The bottom line is this: is that in Europe, right, like in the Middle East, there's only one country that has Jews. Everyone else is pretty much Arabic and Muslim. So why can't the Jews just have one state? Now, the biggest thing I would say is this, to take away from having much conversation about it. October 7th, people basically invaded, just like if you, back in the day, there was I forgot the movie with like Russia. It was called Red Dawn. You see that movie back in the day?
That's right, yeah.
So imagine if Russia invaded America. What would America do? We'd go against war against Russia, right?
Right.
So if Palestinians are flying in with basic, they flew in with those
Parachutes.
the parasailers,
it was horrible.
and they're killing people.
Yeah. Well,
Israel said,
Hamas.
Hamas, right?
Hamas.
So Israel should be attacking back, but
But
Hamas
please don't
runs.
forget who voted for Hamas. It was the Palestinians that voted for Hamas as part of their government.
But again,
Okay.
we could talk about this, but here's the situation. The bottom line is, if the Israeli people were invaded by the Hamas people who run that area in general,
And they took
it
hostages.
creates- it
How
crea-
would you feel
it
if,
creates-
God forbid, your family member, God forbid,
it
God
just
forbid,
creates a war, right? Period.
if your wife, your girlfriend was taken hostage to another country, what would you do?
Right.
Right? You
Right.
talk about being the alpha male and take care. Like, do you think, a lot of people are saying, why is Israel in Gaza right now trying to get their hostages back? Well, I tell them, what if it was your daughter? What if it was your grandfather in there?
The bottom line
Would
is
you
it's-
not want to go
the
and
bottom
get
line
them?
Isn't Gaza just leveled now?
I don't think all of it is, no.
the bottom line is,
Because there's still buildings, there's still places
The
to
bottom
hide.
line
If it
is-
was leveled.
But Israel
it
was bombing last night again, right?
yeah, the bottom line is,
I don't watch it.
listen, this is what I'll share with you.
Probably were.
The bottom line is it's a religious war. This last October 7th, and I'm just going to say how I see it. This last October 7th, they invaded them in that area and killed 1,500 Jews. These people, whether it was the Greeks or the Romans, they're going to fight back. So they fight back in general, and there's a war. There's a religious war going on, but they're acting in self-defense. The bottom line is they're terrorists, and the people that live there, if you get educated, they train the young people. Basically, they hate the Jewish people
Yeah.
and to kill. You can see
From
the
a
videos.
very young age, you can see
finish
videos
this.
of
We're
children
gonna go back and forth. We can't be
learning.
here for 3 hours, so I'm gonna clean it up. The bottom line is that they're training the youth to kill Jews. That will never stop. So they said, even America says, right? Whether we agree or disagree, America says, hey, give back the hostages. The war will be done. They don't want to give back the hostages. So it's just like Nazi Germany, right? The bottom line is they blew up. They killed all the Nazis. And yes, there was a lot of casualties around Germany. My ancestors are German. I am German Jew. Basically, they all had to flee Germany. My family members fled because of what was going on in regards to Hitler. But yes, they blew up all of Germany, and Germany's a better place today. So the bottom line is, whether we agree or disagree or not, that's what they're doing in this area, because they're not giving up the hostages that are there. They're taking back that area so that they cannot be invaded again, and they're going to move those people basically out. Everyone basically is basically notified they can leave to other countries, they can get money, they can come to America, the Palestinian people that are coming to America. Whether we agree or disagree, the bottom line is, at this point in time, or after all these years of 75 years of trying to basically make peace and America trying to help, it's over. It's done. They're taking back the land. People are going to be moved out. And then basically the Israeli people that are there, or the Jewish people, the Jewish state, are not going to be invaded by that same area again and having these terrorist people. The problem with it is that the people that are being educated for this hate and for violence, that will take how many years? 15, 20, 25 years, because the people that are 3 or 5 in school are learning to kill Jews.
Yep.
So you have to wait 20 years or 25 years to change that cycle.
So there was 500,000 Jews in the streets today protesting Bibi Netanyahu's.
So some people are against it because
They're worried.
Protesting.
They're worried that this will cause the hostages to die, because
own
they're
family
worried their
members.
own family member are
Yeah.
hostages, right? Imagine if, God forbid, my grandmother is in a tunnel somewhere in Gaza, and Bibi Netanyahu says, "Hey, I'm gonna level this place, and I'm gonna get rid of Hamas." They're afraid that, okay, what is that gonna make Hamas do right now? Probably grab a gun and, God forbid, kill that hostage. Which
Is Hamas
so that's what they're
a
really
big
going after.
organization?
They're not
yeah, I mean, they're
big.
controlling it. They're
But
controlling
is there a large number of these people controlling it?
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, they're
Listen,
running.
so
I
they're
don't
they're-
running
know why
areas.
they haven't been eliminated already.
Because they're underground.
They're underground. They're everywhere, and
They
it's
took all this money, they're
brainwashed. They
underground.
believe if they kill you, me, or whoever is infidel, right? It's anti-Muslim. Is not Muslim. They can go to heaven with God knows 90 virgins. This
Yeah.
is the mentality.
And that's weird
I mean, how are
because
you gonna
I don't
fight
know
that?
if you've ever been with a virgin. It's not a pleasant experience. It is not fun.
I want to share something. By the way, I want to share something that's very interesting too, which is weird. She's from Iran, which Iran is the main problem, and she's also Jewish. But she loves Iran, the country. The Iranian people love the country. But it's the Muslim extremists have taken over the government and are holding them hostage.
That's got to be hard for you, right?
All of the friends that we have here that are Persian, they're not in Vegas. They're not Jewish Persians. They're actually non-practicing Muslims that are very good people that are actually pro-Israel. They actually, when we go to their homes, they have the Israeli flag. They want Israel to free them.
Donated to Israel's like volunteer, health services and things
it's kind of
like
a bigger level. But what's interesting about her, when I watch
they
TV,
saw firsthand what an Islamic extremist government can do to people, and that's why they're actually hoping and praying that Netanyahu will go to Iran and finish the war with the government because they want to be free.
They want to be
free.
free.
So where is Jerusalem?
Jerusalem's in Israel.
Okay, Jerusalem is, in my faith, is where my Lord.
I'm afraid what he was about to say.
Where my Lord and so
it's like my demon.
Israel is very special to me because it is the birthplace of my Lord and Savior.
Yes.
So
and we've been there. We actually saw it. We saw the cross that people come.
That is a definitely bucket list.
And
for
by the
me.
way, and Jews are not. Again, this gets deeper. I keep thinking like I'm becoming Charlie Kirk and talking about this stuff. I'm not as even knowledgeable, right? But bottom line is this: is that the Jews are fine with the Christians. It's okay.
Yeah.
There's not an issue in general. There's Old Testament. There's New Testament. People believe in different things. There's something of the religion in Israel called Baha'i. You know Baha'i?
No.
There's another religion. There's another place there. Israel's fine with all the different religions. It's okay. They just don't want to be killed. They want to have their own state. They don't want to have problems.
Want peace.
Yeah.
They want peace. That's all they want in general.
I think that's what we all want deep down.
But I'll share with you, we're not educated sometimes as far as deep to debate these topics. Even myself.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying?
That's why I'm shutting my mouth because...
No, I mean, I get it. And that's the thing with this. We only hear and see certain things.
You have to educate yourself on it. Is
I don't even know,
really.
like, with certain things, like I was circumcised. My kid was circumcised. There's no rabbi sucking, the penis blood and stuff like that. So it's interesting what you're watching late at night, which we have to change that channel. We have to get with Jenny and say, well, I don't know what this guy's watching.
I'm not saying. Listen, I'm not saying I believe it. I'm just saying what I've seen, what I've heard.
And who knows? There could be some old something that some person did. There was some story. Who knows? I mean, the bottom line is.
I can tell you that's not happening today.
But this is what I'll share with you. In 2025, I'm 49 years old. Our planet should live in goddamn peace.
You look younger.
Moisturizer, Clinique, and Rogaine, and old school energy drink. So, but listen. We should live in peace and we shouldn't have to kill other people, period.
Yeah.
Whether you're black or white or Muslim, stop. We don't want to kill people. We should end violence. We don't need violence. Is that ever going to change? No. There's always going to be a religious war. It's never going to change. The Muslims are always going to try to change or kill Christians as well. If you went to a Muslim country, you basically would be killed.
Yeah, well, they can kill me because I will never deny my faith.
But that's not good. I don't want you to be killed. Keep your faith and don't get killed, right? Like,
well, I don't want that either.
But the problem with it is that
they can come and preach their religion in a Christian world, but with you know what I mean. They're allowed to do that.
The Christians would not stop someone having a mosque and doing their own religion, right? They're not going to say, oh, my God, like, just do your own thing.
Right.
Like in the Christians or Jews or Baha'i, they're not saying we should kill other people. We should take over the other people. It's only in the Muslim religion, which does go back to the Old Testament as well. It goes back to Judaism as well, but they've changed things as well, modified things.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is, look, none of it's good. Death is no good. No one wants children and family members to die. It's a problem. Just like when my family was from Germany. So just to recap, my family was from Germany. They left because they fled Germany. They wanted to stay in Germany. My last name is Kohlmeier. It's a German name. They loved Germany. But because Hitler basically was killing people and saying Jews and other people, they were killing Christians as well. They were killing a lot of people, gypsies, other people that didn't, that were not the Aryan race. Long story short, that was a problem. And my other side that was Hungarian and Czechoslovakian were basically placed in camps and they were killed because they were Jewish, which is not right. If they were Christians, that's not right. If they were Muslim, that's not right either. So it's a problem in general. So whether it's Jewish people or Christians, because even, like I said, in the other countries, Christians are being killed, right?
Yep.
Or there's another community which you don't even know about called the Druze. The Druze is another religion. They're being killed.
Nobody talks about them. Druze is being killed.
Have you ever heard of the religion, the Druze people?
Never.
It's a separate religion. They're being killed in Syria. But the Druze population lives also in Israel. I was about to say Vegas. In Israel.
But guess which country is actually protecting them and saying, look,
Israel
this is wrong?
Is protecting
Israel
the Druze.
is the only country that's saying, hey, stop killing the Druze. they're not Jewish. They don't. And
Look it up later. The Druze, Druze,
Yeah,
the Jewish people.
Yeah, look up what
they're being
Israel
killed
is
in
doing
Syria
for
because
them.
they're not
taking
Muslim.
them in.
They're not Muslim. So they're fleeing on the border. They opened up like the gate, and they're like basically the other Jewish population that's probably living in Israel.
Yeah.
They're basically coming over to protect them, and Israel is actually trying to do defensive forces to help the Druze people that are not even Jewish.
Yeah.
Because they're basically trying to protect them because they feel it's not right. Nobody in America talks about it. You ever see anything on TV about Druze people?
Right.
You keep hearing about transgender and male and female and all this stuff. Anyway, it's a mess. We're not solving it here.
Well, you
I like to solve it on the problem solver.
Yeah, I just studied it regarding the India and was it Pakistan war too?
Mm-hmm.
They're also killing people because they're not Muslim.
Right, exactly. Yeah, they are.
So, and
They are.
Israel is one of the only countries that's saying, hey, this is not okay.
I'm not for or against anyone. I am just open to learn and to be educated, and I am in no way an anti-Semite. I am no way a racist. I love everybody. I'm in a biracial relationship. I have Jewish landlords. I have Jewish best friends and business partners. I just want to know more. I just want to learn more. And if I say something that's wrong, then I'm open to being corrected on that. And that's the beauty of these podcasts, is you can talk about them and you can learn and you can understand.
All right. So long story short, I did not think that we were getting into this whole topic.
Yeah.
You just killed the Vegas real estate.
Well, let me just say one.
Real estate
No, let me just say one thing. Let's just change the subject really quickly.
Topic. It was actually
about Vegas real estate. And here's the issue that I have is that I have so many people coming from Australia that are always calling me saying, Marcus, what's the best hotel to stay in? Marcus, can I stay with you? Marcus, what's the best Airbnb? But there's another option to that, right? There's another option to that.
I always say, luckily, Aaron that watches is going to be cutting this clip there for the real estate portion.
I mean, and the option to that is you can own property here in the United States, or you can be part of. I don't want to say it's a like a timeshare.
It's a condo hotel. You can use it as a condo. You can stay in it. You can live in it, or you can rent it out as a hotel, and you basically own a piece of hotel. So you're a hotel owner, whatever amount of units you own.
So basically you pay for the hotel/apartment, and then you come and stay there when you want for your 3 or 4 week holiday. But then when you're back in your own country by the end, you can rent that out as if it was a hotel room.
Absolutely. You can rent it out on Airbnb, or you can have that. Basically, the hotel already has a management system that you can be part of. They'll take a fee, of course, but they'll rent it out for you on their website.
So you can basically pay your mortgage off through the fees and through the rent that you're getting through people hiring out this room. Now, the beauty of this property that we're going to go and check out a little bit later on today, not only is it in the prime smack bang center of Las Vegas, not only is it on the 47th floor at Trump Tower, which is going to have spectacular views, and I can imagine the amenities are going to be second to none. We're going to go and check out this beautiful property a little bit later on. As a matter of fact, I'm going to film it so I can let all my friends and family know overseas that, hey, don't worry about staying at Caesars. Don't worry about staying at my place, because I'm sick of you asking me. If you want to stay somewhere, why not own a bit of property here in Las Vegas and kill two birds with one stone? Be able to stay there yourself whenever you want, and then also be able to rent it out to people that are coming into Vegas daily, weekly, monthly, yearly. There's a no-lose situation. It's a win-win situation, and we're going to check out the property. I'm going to put it all over my social media so you guys can see how spectacular this place. As a matter of fact, I'm really looking forward to it. Does it have a pool?
Absolutely.
Is swimwear optional?
For you, yes.
David, are you listening?
Yeah, I'm doing 3 things at once.
Okay, yeah. So we're going to go check out Trump Towers a little bit later on, and we're going to check out this property. And I think it's a great idea, and I think we could get some really great interest overseas from a lot of people that want to come in here and be able to, have a bit of property in America, and also be able to stay somewhere and rent it out to other people at the same time. I reckon it's a great idea.
Yeah, we're going to go out there to take a look at it. I think that you'll have an interesting. It's a beautiful spot in general. So. I will share with you one thing that's interesting. So this particular property is like $333,000.
That's it?
But what's interesting, if you go to Florida, Miami, all these other countries, all these units are like $750,000, $1 million.
Yep.
I don't know why. Why do you think like it is really, really reasonable in general?
Well, Las Vegas is a reasonable city.
Yeah, compared to places like New York or California.
They want tourists here.
Right.
But the bottom line is,
The best part is that, sorry, I don't mean to
go
interrupt
ahead.
you, but you don't even need $333,000 to own this unit. You can come up with about $70,000 to $80,000 and get a loan.
Yeah, and then what would be, say, for instance, with the mortgage payment or something like that would be around, what, $2,700 a month?
Probably, yeah.
And
Or
then what could you
possibly
rent
less.
that place out for per month? A lot more than that, right?
$3,500 to $4,000.
So you could pay your mortgage and also make a profit at the same time.
Absolutely.
How is this not sold already?
It's a great deal. It's
All
amazing.
right, we're going to get this place sold. We're going to get this place sold for sure.
All right, so we're gonna go out to Trump. What other topics were there in general? So we talked about Trump in general. Do you want to talk
Circumcision.
circumcision?
That was not part of
That
my
went so
agenda.
far.
That was her favorite topic of the day, by the way, circumcision.
Do you want to talk about? Okay,
Come on, David, spit it out.
I just
9.5 inches.
No,
there you go. Does that make you feel
'cause
better?
You mentioned you need circumcision. That's what we're gonna have to.
I was just trying to think. I saw your last podcast, and I was thinking, do we ever see you? Were you at what, Chippendales?
No, I was at Thunder from Down Under.
Okay, I took my best friend there one year for
Yeah.
her birthday.
Yeah, I think maybe that we got her up on stage. Yeah, I mean that show's been going for so long now that if you went there in the last 20 years, that you probably would have seen me.
We definitely were there the last 20 years.
And how was David? Were you with David then?
I don't remember. Were we together at the time?
Where is this?
When I took my friend for her
Oh,
her
the-
birthday.
I did go there one time. I actually went with her.
To Thunder
thought-
from Down Under?
Yeah, with one of the shows.
We've been to several different male videos.
Yeah, I actually wanted to see like
What,
it
you
was like
guys
inside.
go together?
No, she had a bunch of people. I thought it was actually funny.
Is
to
there
go
some
just to
kinky
see.
shit going on in your guys' relationship? Come on, because I reckon there's some, I've seen your parties.
I went one time
It's
just to
creep-
see. I thought it was very interesting to see all these women basically trying to attack
Oh,
men.
it's
like,
insane. If men acted that way, if it was the way that the girls acted at Thunder from Down Under show, if guys were doing that to female strippers, they'd be kicked out, arrested. But it's hands on for the girls. When I mean hands on, it's hands on. It's hands on. It's hands on.
Interesting.
Women are way
Recently-
more hornier and crazy than men are when it comes to those type of shows. They really are. They go to an extra level of crazy. I mean, and it was for a young single guy moving to America and doing and living that life. I mean, it was a dream come true. A dream come true. And I capitalized on it. Trust me. I used my power of my accent and being in Thunder from Down Under. And yeah, Hugh Hefner, who? Pfft, forget about that.
All right, so we're gonna head over to Trump, and then we'll basically we'll show the day in the life of Marcus Deegan at the Trump show. So I appreciate Marcus with this interesting conversation today. That was. I think I'm like we're all like heated up here a little bit. No, it's an interesting conversation in general. We went from Vegas. Well, we went from I guess with a sad situation with Charlie and talking about debating, and then religion, and then war, and then we went to Vegas real estate. So that was interesting. We need to have this on the Action Junkies more. This is more of an action situation going on.
I think it's, because it is the problem
No,
solver, we can talk
these
about.
are all problems. These are all problems.
That's right.
Doesn't mean I have to solve them all in one day. I wish I could. It was that easy. Just put a spell on things.
Right.
But anyway, thanks so much for joining us. The Problem Solver,
Thank you, man.
Marcus. Thank you as
Thank you so
usual.
much.
Thanks to the Old School Energy Drink. I think we're gonna have to cut a bunch of clips up with this Old School Energy Drink. Everyone's getting canceled these days. Every time we talk about religion or politics, I don't know.
Maybe we should think about releasing,
we may
one.
have to just cut this up a little bit,
Yeah.
For
Yeah, whatever.
But anyway,
It is what it is.
anyway, Kamelia, thanks so much for as usual
for having me.
sharing your information. All right, over and out.
Over and out.
Okay, we're good.